Well, the Cobra Kai is going to be ringing in the new year this year, actually, for season 4, and something tells me that there's another member of the LaRusso family that might have a little something to say about it this season. It's Anthony LaRusso himself, Griffin Santopietro. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. So, first of all, let's backtrack like to the very,
Mhm.
very beginning. You find out that you're a part of the show. Were you a fan of the franchise originally, or did you? Because this was obviously like way before you were even born. So, how much
Yeah.
did you even know about the Karate Kid franchise?
I think before season one, I had seen the first, and I think I see the first two because my grandpa and I used to watch like older movies,
There you go.
um, and so I remember distinctly seeing Karate Kid one. I'm pretty sure I saw two, and then I think like a year ago or two, I watched three.
Oh, and I think 3 is going to be kind of a big deal this season because, of course, you've got Terry Silver joining
Yes,
the
yeah.
cast this year. What's it like having some of those members of obviously, we've seen that kind of as a progression throughout the show. What's it been like for to see these cast members from those original movies slowly but surely work their way into your series?
I mean, it's crazy, you know. I mean, it was weird seeing it for the first time because I think it was I would recently seen part three, and I didn't realize how tall he was in real life. Like he's like really really tall, and so it was kind of like weird like seeing him. And I was like, he's also very scary because he's a really nice guy in real life, but very scary on screen. But I think throughout the show, just seeing those people like on the show that I was on was just so weird.
And is he giving like people ponytail tips and stuff like that? Because you see the man bun kind of come up
Yeah, yeah,
there,
he's got the
and I know
ponytail.
you got a little bit of the longer hair. Like, is
Mhm.
he trying to give you pointers, like style tips and stuff like that?
You know, never before, but I'm gonna ask him now. I'm gonna ask if he can if he can show me how to get the beautiful ponytail that he has.
I can't get my hair to do that. It puffs out. It's ridiculous. It's large. It's just awful.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen a lot of Anthony recently, but
Mm.
how consciously aware of just how bad things are, how stressful things have been for the family over really the last couple of seasons.
Like how aware of it is Anthony?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say like I guess what we kind of explored was that like he doesn't really like he's never been too invested in it, but I guess he's kind of been noticing that, you know, things aren't great because of Cobra Kai. And obviously like his parents kind of like he was just never really there, so he doesn't really know and he's not really he doesn't care. But um but yeah, I'm trying to think of what I can say. Um um yeah, I think it's just that general idea that he's always been aware that something bad is going on, but he just doesn't care.
It's funny because so often you see in certain instances, even not just on screen but in life as well, you got the kid that's all into video games. It seems like that's all they care about, and then you don't understand that. Okay, maybe this kid's really good at video games, and maybe this is something we need to pay attention to. Could that be something maybe we see creep up with Anthony, maybe coming up this season?
I would say definitely like the idea of him. Um, I guess that video game idea of like he's always kind of using like tactics, you know, and stuff. Um, but I would say, you know, we it wasn't just him being into video games anymore. You get to see that he's a little more of a nerd than we knew before. Like he knows more about like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. But you know, it's just he's not totally just a gamer anymore. You know, he has more of a social, I guess, world awareness now. um, but I think that's definitely like just still who he is. He's just a little nerd, you know?
We could see him rag on his sister a little bit, actually, when the last time we saw him, saying that he was disappointed in her and stuff like that. What is that relationship like? You think between the two of them, and could we see? Because I don't think we've seen enough of that on the show. Actually, could we see more of that this season as well?
I want to see more of that as well. In this season, I would say I get to do a lot of good stuff with the family. You know, I think he's finally, I mean, obviously he's been a part of the family, but you know, there hasn't always been scenes where the family's really like addressing him, you know. And I think now, especially with like Daniel, you know, they've got some good like father son stuff. But I would say his relationship with Sam is pretty good at this point. You know, they're not trying to remember back to season. I don't think there's not much of him just like ragging on her for no reason. You know, they're just pretty neutral at this point.
It's funny because I feel like both the LaRusso parents have kind of caught heat, especially from Sam, I don't want to see not being available because that's not the right way to put it, but kind of not paying enough attention to their own children because of all the craziness that's going on around them. Could we maybe see some of that as far as Anthony's concerned as well? Because there's been a couple times where I've been watching the show, I'm like, where's Anthony? Like,
Yeah.
you guys know he's still there, right? So could we maybe see some of that creep up as well? Maybe some anger on his part in that regard.
I think there's definitely some stuff where I guess, the family kind of takes into account like, oh, we haven't really paid attention to this guy. What does he have going on? And then I think Anthony's just had some of that bent up. I'm sure there's like a bent up aggression through that, of like my family doesn't pay attention to me. But again, this season, I feel like there's a lot of that, a lot of payoff for that, a lot of like conversations where we don't necessarily say, oh, we've never paid attention to you, but more like, like I finally want to be a part of your life.
It's funny because is it almost because you almost get the sense of, okay, well, these kids aren't allowed to be kids because of all the stuff that's going on, all this heavy stuff. Do you kind of feel like him almost being on the outside of all this has actually been better for him, and now that he's a little bit older, he can start to maybe deal with it a little bit better, but he's kind of stayed away from it before. Has he benefited from that, you think?
Yeah, I think that getting the privilege, I guess, of not being part of the whole fighting aspect is like that he is like just very much a normal kid, And then I do think there's some stuff where because he wasn't a part of that, there's a lot that he doesn't understand about, I guess, respect and responsibility, So I'm sure like there's some characters that have like a good balance of that. And I think Anthony had very much been on the outskirts of that. So he doesn't really have any of the teachings that would help him in life, but he doesn't have any of the karate stuff that would hinder him, if that makes any sense.
Oh, no, that totally makes sense. Perfect, especially when it comes to this show. Talking to Griffin Santopietro, who's playing Anthony LaRusso on Cobra Kai since the beginning, actually. Of course, season 4 going to be coming out on New Year's Eve. Now, Griffin, we have seen Anthony's not totally disinterested in karate. We've seen him sort of pique his interest a little bit here and there. Could we maybe find out that this kid's got like some secret skills, or he's been like peeping in the corner or something, and all of a sudden he's just going to come out blazing with all these karate skills?
Well, that I was telling him that's what should happen in the house fight in season 3. He should have just come down and just started beating everybody up. But that'd be cool if he had just some secret karate. But I think, yeah, like you said, I mean, he's always had some interest in it, I think, I guess that's more what I was mentioning earlier, like his rebelliousness is not, he doesn't want to do karate. He doesn't want to do what his sister's doing. He's very much like marching to the beat of his own drum when it comes to the family tradition, but yeah, I think that's all I'm supposed to say about that.
So, well, let's put it this way then. Griffin, the actor, has to see some of this stuff going on these scenes and going, man, I want to do that, because I know me sitting at home, I'm like, I want to do that without hurting myself. So, but at the same time, do you see some of these things that everybody's doing, and you're thinking, man, I want to get in on that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I think it's just part of having a great stud series. I've got like, I think even like season 3 and stuff, I've just gone up to them and been like, hey, can you teach me something? And they're like, well, we got time. But I think especially like just, it's so cool to especially watch it, but yeah, I mean, it's me as a person for sure. Anthony, I don't know.
Okay, so I asked this, it's been a while since I talked to Mary Mauser, but I asked her this when I talked to her, I think a couple seasons ago, because there's been the fan theory for years that Daniel was the real villain of the Karate Kid movies. So are you buying that, or are you saying, nah, man, it was clearly Johnny? I want to hear what the son has to say.
Okay, so I remember, I think season 1, my friend had sent me like a video of it, like someone explaining it. And the aspect is that like Johnny's life was kind of like fine. He wasn't really harming anyone. And then like Daniel got involved, right? And then that's where it all kind of spiraled out of control. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think there's definitely that aspect in any like good guy, bad guy film where it's like, if the good guy didn't do what he did, it probably wouldn't have been a problem. But there were definitely some scenes. I think the shower scene, the bathroom scene in the
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
That's definitely on Daniel. He deserved that. But I'd say with some of the other stuff, like Johnny was just being, a jerk. So I think it was pretty standard. Like, I think Daniel was still a good guy, but there's some arguments to be made. I will hear you out.
So you're talking like 90-10, maybe something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
percent.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe even like 80-20, you
Okay,
know?
yeah, we can go as high as 80-20. See,
Yeah.
I'm Team LaRusso, and I don't apologize for it. So I'm
Okay,
just
yeah, yeah.
throwing it out there, just keeping it real.
Right, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so at the same time, you see these two that have been at odds for so long, and now it seems like they're starting to maybe bury the hatchet, or at least being forced to work together in this upcoming season. How fun was it to watch Ralph and William and just kind of play off that relationship in this particular season when they realize they kind of have to get along for the greater good? How fun was that to watch them play off of that?
That was really fun, I think, because I think the show, we've seen them be nice to each other. It's not like they've always been at odds, but I think having them specifically have to be, I guess, I don't know what you describe it as, I guess sensei together, or be some sort of team. I think that's a little more interesting, especially since um they have such differing styles of not only karate, just like teaching in general. And so it was actually really interesting in season 4 just to watch like them get mad at, like, butt heads about like what they should do, and to find some compromises here and there. Like, it's a very interesting dynamic. It's a buddy cop style, I guess.
Oh, see, that's a great way to describe it. That's such a cool way to describe it. I was kind of hoping for that, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. So, Griffin, you personally, I know that you're a comic book guy. Obviously that's something that we talk a lot about. Is there anything right now that you're specifically really digging, that you're a fan of, that you would maybe really like to see on screen at some point? You really like to be a part of?
Oh man, I mean, I think right now the most recent thing I was reading was Invincible. I'm on, like, I think I just finished like the second compendium of that. And I know they're getting a movie, which is going to be pretty exciting. But as for like me, if I could do anything, I think Spider-Man's my number one. But we have 3 of those, so I'll wait on that. Um, I would say Spider-Man. I mean, being any Robin would be cool. Superboy, either of them. I think just doing anything would be pretty awesome. But yeah, I've been, especially during quarantine, I read a ton of stuff. So I'm like,
see, I'm thinking right now. You're like almost the right age for like Damien. For like Damien.
Yeah, I've heard like Damien. I think maybe I'm about the same age as Tim Drake.
You might be too nice of a kid to play Damien, though. I don't know. We haven't really seen you get mean in a ton of stuff, so yeah, maybe you're too nice to play Damien.
Yeah. Damien, I think John or Connor Kent, I kind of want to play. That'd be cool. But like the stupid 90s one with the leather jacket and the mullet.
Yes,
like that one. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I love it. Do you kind of find yourself too? Because I know when I was growing up, it was a little bit different for me because it wasn't as widely available. But do you feel like there's kind of like there's good comics outside of the quote unquote big two that maybe people are missing? And I think Invincible is one of those. Is there anything else that you found outside of maybe the Marvel and DC realm that you're digging, that you're like, man, I wish more people knew about this book or this story?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I stick pretty much to the big two. I think Image Comics I read. Like Spawn. Spawn is Image, right? Or is he?
No, Spawn is Image. Yep, you're right.
Okay, yeah. So Image Comics,
McFarlane, but yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I read mostly like Image Comics outside of that. But I've heard there's some good Dark Horse stuff. I think they have like the Alien and Predator right now. But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot. Like, I feel like it's very jarring if you haven't been doing it for a while and you're just trying to start. So I think starting with the big two is a good idea. But there's there's so many comic books, dude. There's so many.
There is a ton, and there's some good stuff in the big two too. I'm not saying there's definitely some good stuff in the big two as well. So Griffin, before I let you go, New Year's Eve is when you're going to be rocking the binge for season 4 of Cobra Kai. Give me a little bit of how you would describe Anthony in season 4 of Cobra Kai without spoiling anything.
Okay, I would describe what we're doing with him as more of like finally giving him like the attention that he hasn't been getting from his parents. And one thing I do like about season 4, there's a good balance of like him doing stuff with his parents and him doing stuff like kind of on his own, There's some good, there's a lot of good chemistry. I would say like I got to work with some really great people, and I think it's going to really show up well on screen. And yeah, I would say you just finally get to know more about him as a person, know more about how maybe he isn't just the meanest person in the world, like he's been shown to be. And I do like that we kind of tell his story of not just like this total piece of crap kid, but more of like a kid who is kind of just been influenced by some classmates that, you know, no one really wants to be around, you know?
Oh, I do. And hopefully we'll all find out on New Year's Eve. Maybe you start your binge midday and then you'll get yourself right up to when the ball drops for Cobra Kai season 4. And hopefully we're going to see a lot more of this guy. It's Griffin Santopietro. Thank you so much, man, for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.